What's going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the second album by rapper YNW Melly. Basically, this product is called Just a Matter of Slime, and it came out in the summer of 2021. So the fair about this particular album here is just the fact that this is still amidst like YNW Melly's court cases as far as this fair is going to happen. He's kind of very similar to Meek Mill and some of those type folks like C Murder, that's just an ongoing mantra, like the product of what he was having a particular deal with. But he does drop classics within these excellent type appeals. There's no harrow or things like that, negativity towards that is just a pitch as far as saying it's just unfortunate the concept that he wasn't able to put out like music for it seems like very much of a length of time to have like there's songs on this project like the Freddy Krueger remix and then the Nana and a Boo Boo song. As far as those songs kind of happen, that just kind of have the aspect of like a very small taste of like YNW Melly that feels more like Kodak Black and some of those type folks that have a more kind of ravenous kind of aspect to something that probably could have been tore up. It's like Traces of probably something that would have been like an album, a 2020s album variation of something like the stuff that Lil Durk and Waka Flocka were doing back in the early 2010s. But this particular focus just marred for pretty much, I would probably say more or less the entirety of his career as far as this first album. It's definitely excellent with the pitch. This one is not as uptown with much of the Serpents as much as Melly vs. Melvin was from 2019, but still the pitch as far as being able to say has the ordeal of getting towards. This particular album has a little bit more free time amidst the aspect as far as like the Serpents and figuring out some extra type fairs it's going to have within the product of it. So some Instagram bellas, some pitches like that, some kind of in-between ruminations, some of those type fairs just within the pitch as far as saying kind of has the product of, it is a trap type product, but it has some pop trap kind of moments where it has some breakthrough. I'm not as full bound sure. I guess I could check and see like how high this particular album charted in terms of the singles, but it's kind of the pitch as far as saying none of these particular singles charted apart from Thugged Out with Kodak Black, but within the pitch as far as saying within the fair behind it, trap was at a pretty supreme high in the early 2020s pitches like that. So it's just the fair that a lot of this was pretty Instagram successful pitches like a lot of the social media type spots, TikTok and probably Snapchat, some of those type fairs within the pitch. He was pretty much in his prime around this time. Now it's not to say he's not now, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying that trap is kind of a lot more wayside within the relative pitch. I mean, it's kind of on the comeback. Metro Boomin dropped some stuff, some folks like that. Future's been trying to help out with it, but it's just kind of fair in terms of these blockade type ones. This is another prime type one. Just go ahead and say I recommend all 12 of the 12 songs off this product. So simple, kind of 10 out of 10. Now it's kind of within the pitch of the originality as far as saying that a lot of this compared to the stuff that's going on. It's not to say that the current times are not good within the pitch, but this is just kind of some wayside type stuff within the pitch as far as, despite the fact of not having like the ferocious kind of blitzers and for the most part kind of crazy type fact that trap is normally known for. It does particularly pull off some of these malaise and kind of sorrowful type vibes within the pitch as far as having the conduct of just showcasing some further type songwriting in different aspects as far as a different side, just kind of the aspect of more caught up type vibes and pitches like that as far as like, which can more or less just be translated to work shift slag as far as those first have. So just whether on papers like the concept of like YNW Melly or just the pitch of just having like the product of this usual kind of dread and some of the stuff aspects of this more personal kind of brooding. It's this kind of pitch that this has, not to say a chip on its shoulder in terms of the negative sense, but this kind of pitch that is just not like the aspect behind it in terms of like the frolic, like the previous one when you think of Melly vs. Melvin, that did have like some cheery type ones within pitch, and despite the fact that that one was on papers as well as kind of pitch that one had that the Melly personality was the happier one. If you remember, Melvin is kind of the one that was more brooding within a sense, but I didn't necessarily see as much Melly on this particular product within those type tones within pitch. It was just kind of the fair as far as saying it's just more amidst like the product of it's more varietized, nails the particular aspects. This is a classic album. I appreciate this album more than, it's not to say Melly vs. Melvin from 2019 was not good, but this just has a good affluence of this, the concept of this. You feel the pain off this particular product, and it has the fairs like some enjoyment within it. So it's just kind of, there are some smokage type songs, even though I don't know as full bound if YNW Melly was smoking around this time, but it does have the moments to kind of sprinkle in like the smoke type fair, get like a good sandwich at Burger King, some of these type pitch just kind of have within the in-between type fashions, so getting towards getting some of that done. But it's just kind of pitch. It's preoccupied for most of the run, but it does have the concept of the disc, just the concept of having a hands full type, you know, trekking as far as what's supposed to happen. So I looked at the pitch. There were 5 singles off this project. So Nana and a Boo Boo is the lead single as far as what's going to happen. It's like a tittering and late shift kind of new era trap to kind of get within the aspects of it here. Just some new era kind of trap creeping, I'd say. Good pitches for that. Great song to grab goodies to, and just some side tokes as far as what's going to happen. So not within the full bound pitch within those pairs, but just kind of the product where not, it's just within the pitch, whether the situation just having like hands full type of ordeals within the product to like standard personal livings, pitches like that. But it's kind of the product where it's not so much the full bound like the smokage type fare is like the main thing on your mind, but it's just kind of the product as far as just an in between type fashion, sneaking in a smoke or two here and there. Some of those type pitches just getting towards it. Not to recommend smoking if you're having problems with just the pitch as far as saying just within the fare as far as just having the extra type fare, just getting some stuff done, and just kind of this particular album is just kind of where it kind of melds minorly within the sense of some of these type moments that are normal for like the trap kind of craziness. So it's just kind of fair as far as saying this is not really like the Friday, Saturday type heat and Thursday type heat that you would expect from like, you know, obviously when you think of folks like Future, Yo Gotti, Meek Mill, some of these type of folks that have like that normal dynamite type craziness, but it's just the pitch as far as having like a wayside type toke, something like that, just kind of within the product of this in between type session. So it's just a good fare, but it does have these moments on here. So it's just typical type one, young nigga shits like that as well. There are some moments on here, Freddy Krueger remixes within those fares, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying just kind of less. It's kind of more wayside within the product of like the smoke type fashion. Not really, not terrible like amount of like get shit faced kind of drunk type fashions either. Not to say that like it wouldn't, but it's just kind of fair. It's just more smoke centric, but it's good type products. So it's not like it's any problem with that. But Thugged Out is a quality one. It's the highest charting single at this product, but this was this particular song was on the bubbling under 100 singles, so it's kind of pitched extra type fair. But some excellence on it. This is definitely another highlight. I had to say, like I said, it's pretty productive type fair. This is a big deal on Instagram, social media pitches like that. So it's just a lot of these did have millions of plays on Spotify. Like Thugged Out had 20 million, so it's just good pitches like that. But yeah, Thugged Out has Kodak Black. It's like a brooding kind of throwback, kind of uptown YNW Melly, I'd say, within the product of it here. Very similar to the Melly vs. Melvin, album pitches like that. It's like some dope kind of routine, kind of mixtape era harrow as far as those pitches kind of happen. This should take folks back to like Meek Mill, Yo Gotti, some of those type of folks having similar songs within that dredge of it back in 2010, 2011, some of those type pitches. But it is good for like supply runs, pitches like that. Just the fair, just going uptown, whether you are visiting like an Arby's or something like that, uptown, some of those type joints there. Long John Silver, some of those type pitches that are just not typical within the commonplace, like usual kind of formats within it. I just would look within the aspect. Just being able to have for some of those wayside type jaunts and ventures as far as those fairs will kind of have just one pitch. It nails particular vibes. I mean, it's kind of the product that the hero about this album makes you feel within certain senses that you have the contribution to be a part of it, but it's just kind of fair. It just kind of has the aspect of this extra type product of this, you know, basically just picking up like some kind of easily getting some Captain Morgan, some of those type fairs. So just good for supply runs that I'd say good type fare. Pieces is the third single off this project. Now this I want to say has Queen Naija, something like that. I particularly know her. I know she's an Instagram starlet, something like that. But look at the appeal. So it's a good, nice one. Pieces like a basic kind of Instagram and glaze kind of a day shift basking, kind of good within the aspects here. Just some extra kind of makeshift thoughts, I'd say, within the tone behind it. It's kind of good for some ruffle bass pitches like that. So it's kind of the fair. It's kind of here and there within those pitches, just within the fair of the product of it. Kind of pretty centric to like the 2020s, I'd say, within the pitch as far as just kind of, it's more of just kind of like a gripe type song more so than the fair behind it. It's kind of the product of like usual Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday type makeshift, weekday type fair within the pitch, but just kind of in an Instagram type format. So it's a good type fair for some of those type ones. MGK is pretty good about these, just doing it in a more punk rap kind of sense the way he did with like Tickets to My Downfall. But it's just kind of the aspect of this kind of, this one's a little bit more in the present compared to like the dissonance that most of this album particularly kind of has, but it's just the aspects as far as this first going to happen, just kind of having, this one's more focused on the Monday of today and the Tuesday of tomorrow, some of that pitches within the fair behind it, more so the very next day, Tuesday is what I mean by that, but just the pitch of some of that more kind of ripped within the particular times of like present fair, the present kind of curriculum as far as this first going to happen, but it's just, you know, gripe pitches like that, ruffled hair, bad hair day pitches like that, good type fair about it. And then Young Nigga Shit's the fourth single. It says YNW Gunna and Hot Boy on there as far as those pairs gonna have a good type pitch. It's like a back on like the relative Night Frolic and Scattery kind of tip as far as those pairs gonna happen. This is like the closest thing to like the vintage type stuff that folks like Kodak Black and some of those newer type folks like Pop Smoke were kind of doing around that time as far as those pairs gonna happen. It's not as much drill like Pop Smoke, but it's just kind of format, just very ravenous within the tone, or at least the closest thing to it. Definitely some mixtape heat I'd say about this. This great song to get ripped to, some of those type formats. So this is the closest thing to getting cut loose within those pairs. I realize that Freddy Krueger is kind of like that as well, but that one's just kind of more of like a commerce type one, some stunt type tunes from the pitch, just more malaise about it. But this is a particular one, just neighborhood type jaunts where you're going to be making like those Taco Bell runs, getting some red cups, some particular type form. It's probably the closest thing to like a house party. Now I realize for the most part, YNW Melly was pretty much from the get-go, he wasn't able to do like these blitzing type moments where he could get, you know, complete shit face, some of those type products, just like the tear up and things like that. But I just look at the tone as far as saying it is a relative type product, just like the name of the song being called Young Nigga Shit. It's just kind of fair as talking when you're having the aspect more or less to have that particular conduct. So it just has that tone, this good nice one, kind of as like a kind of as like an oasis to kind of have some of those type tones to be able to do it. Good, nice appeal. And then Best Friends for Life is the 5th single. Some good type fares as well. It's like a woozy kind of Lil Durk and Young Thug style kind of Instagram mellow out bleed, I'd say, within the aspects of it here. Just great song to get cozy as far as what's first gonna happen. This one's a little bit more kind of the same thing like Pieces, but just not as much bicker about it as far as what's first gonna happen. Just kind of that Instagram kind of drill that you'd catch from usual starlets and like story type fair pictures like that. It's kind of the product of this. Just pleasing and kind of cozy type drew as far as what's aspects going to happen. Just with it's kind of pleasing and cozy type drew within the aspects as far as just like a good kind of just usual kind of product of like some silkiness just within the tone as far as what's aspects going to happen. Just like the pitch as far as what's going to happen. Just kind of just days back under the kickback. I mean, it's just one of those type of products that makes you wish within the fashion that Instagram would kind of be, not just cell phone centric pitches like that. I mean, you can watch it on the computer, some of those type fairs, but just with the pitch of having like a PlayStation setup, some of those type moments to just go through everyone's story, some of those type fairs just with the pitch. It's particularly having that product about. But yeah, it's just good type song for that particular social media type boundness with just like some kickback with, you know, the standard bell type fare. Yeah, that's the particular fare. So I recommend every song on here. It's easy enough. This album gets a 10 out of 10. Liking the fair songs like basically more or less the product of Pieces, but just a little bit more malaise about it with more songs like Best Friends for Life. There's some ones on here like Loving My Life, Capri Sun, Fun, Far Apart, some of these type ones, and even Greenside that have the particular product of just like the malign or just kind of silked out but kind of dredgy kind of aspects. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's just kind of more the aspect of this. It's frustrating, but it's just kind of more or less the aspect of like kind of more cozy kind of discomfort as far as the fair is going to happen, just with like the relative ruffledness of this songs in like a more Instagram kind of more smoother sense type format. So it has some good pitches just to get to some of these. But yeah, Take Care is a nice one. It's like a day drift, kind of nice moody post hour reflect kind of get here. Have like a cold drink and some grub pitches like that. Good song to dine to pitches like that. Just the after effects, like some good after hours product. Good particular product for like a Sunday evening, Monday evening, some of those type pitches. Just like some good romantic haze within the fairs behind it. So particularly nails like that 90s kind of romantic type fair and 2000s kind of more ballad type aspect. It's not so much a ballad, but it's just the pitch of just having like a good, just peaceful type one within the pitch, or at least close. It's more silky, kind of cozy within the aspects. It just has that particular fair about it. It's kind of some trap that is contemporary, so it nails that particular vibe. Good type fair. Mind of Melvin is a quality one. This is like a dreary kind of after moment sifting, I'd say, within the product of it here. This has like an enjoyable lull, and the song has like an enjoyable lull, and this good song to zone from Joints as far as this fair is going to happen. Just excellent type product. Get some smokage fair in there within the pitch behind it. Pretty plushy. This particular one, this one actually goes along with the more standard theme about this particular album. Songs like Capri Sun, Fun, and Take Care, some of those type pitches within the format of it. So it's just some good further type product as far as this fair is going to happen. It's kind of one that Juice WRLD would kind of do some of those type pitches within the format of it. Just that same sort of sparkly kind of starry type sense. It's something you'd listen to past 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock p.m. when it's more in the early stages of night shift as far as this fair is going to happen. More kind of pajama and slacks type music within the fair as far as this pitch can happen. Just kind of plaid pants, some of those type ordeals with that good type pitch with this good product. Capri Sun Fun's a nice one as well. It's like a nice pop trap kind of makeshift dredge kind of get within the aspects of it here. Just sobering and peering, I'd say, within the aspects as far as those pitch going to go. Good for some sunsets, I'd say, within the aspect. Just some typical treks as far as those fairs going to have. So just within the pitch. So yeah, Capri Sun Fun is kind of similar to Thugged Out within those pitches, but just a little bit more amidst like the product, like a little bit more bustle about it. So it just kind of has the particular fair. Just, yeah, good pop trap within the pitch, kind of preoccupied within the aspect, but just some good makeshift dredge, kind of weekday type commerce within the pitch. It just that sobering type aspect where you just kind of have the straightforward kind of bustle and this straightforward kind of bustle and upkeep as far as those fairs going to happen, but just in like a typical kind of just probably mid-late day pitches like that. Sunset fairs is good for that particular snap to it, I'd have to say. Far Apart's a nice one as well. It's like a throwback kind of 2010s trap star, I'd say, within the aspects of it here. This reminds like Chief Keef and Lil Durk, some of those type folks that would kind of have like some pop trap smear as far as those fairs going to happen. Definitely within pitch, one of those type ones that Chief Keef would probably do for the radio, just within the product of his closest thing to like a makeshift kind of grab within those products of it. Just kind of something, feels like something that would have been an above grab kind of conduct back in like the Finally Famous and Bang Part 2 type days, some of those type pitches within the fair. Definitely Lil Durk was doing these. I mean, this one's not as much pop trap kind of centric within the product as something for like 2017, 2018. It was just kind of the pitch as far as something that feels like it's ripped out of 2012, 2013, 2014. So those type fairs when early 2010s trap was kind of meshing within the product of just getting to like those numbers that Future was kind of doing with Pluto. So those type pitches. It just like the initial kind of moments. Feels kind of commercial about it, but also feels retro, so some good type ordeals with that. But it's just kind of the product of like a good kind of more or less kind of trap ballad, some of those type ordeals. So good type product for that. Freddy Krueger remix is a real excellent type one. This is another type song that this album needed way more of, but it's a good type pitch to get this still. It says Future on here and T Grizzly, so it's good products. It's like a vintage kind of stock 2010s and 2020s trap to have within these products. It's a good 2020s trap beast, 2010s trap beast as far as what's going to happen. It has like a great Future and T Grizzly aspects about this particular song. It's just good for some Malay as far as what's going to happen. So just the pitch, whether it is just a simple hot box, just in a typical kind of trap type sense with those folks you would have listened to back in those days within the product, but it's also just the malign and just kind of something for like some surfing, something that Travis Scott and some of those type folks would have done back in like 2018, 2020, some of those type fairs within it. Feels like a song Future would have done, and like the relative product just feels factored within the product to something for like the Dirty Sprite 2 kind of days, and some of those type products that Future was just doing throughout the second half of the 2010s. This particular song, the Freddy Krueger remix, is a standout in terms of the ordeal. It's just like the typical kind of funk that it's in. It's just a good product to really get shifted to as far as this person can have, just be shit faced. Some of those type products as far as this person can have, just the particular kind of slurred out typeness within the fair. So it's a good type product, but once again, it's just kind of slidey as far as those first game, but it is an excellent song. Loving My Life is a nice one. It's like a drifty and treasury, and I don't mean treasury in terms of like the government type stuff, but like it's like treasure. I'm talking like a treasure kind of treasury, something like that. Just good type pitch as far as saying it's a good treasury kind of go around. It's kind of some in between kind of extra fair, I'd say, within the product of it. Just kind of some Instagram pop sugars as far as those first games. So just in the pitch, same sort of format as like Capri Sun Fun, Mind of Melvin, Best Friends for Life. So those type ones in the pitch behind it, but just kind of the song kind of is more of like a Grateful type one within the pitch. Just kind of more within the particular product that likes some frolic, but just kind of the more, just doesn't feel as primary within the aspect as far as this first game. It's not, it kind of feels like a random kind of Tuesday or Thursday or just whichever day, something within those particular products of it, just kind of the product of this. It's kind of like a stop and sit down kind of day, and just kind of the after effects of some intake as far as this first game. So definitely good within the pitch. Yeah, just some typical kind of Instagram pop sugar, and just some good kind of Instagram kind of pop sugar and treats as far as those first games. It's a good type product for that, good silkiness. Now look, after Green Sight's a quality one as well. It's like a trippy and passage kind of rumination kind of get within the products of it here. Just neighborhood, but it's kind of in motion within the product of it. Kind of a snack run type song, but just really not the usual kind of delight that would kind of go along with songs within those formats. It's kind of preoccupied going as far as this first can happen, just to miss the passage of it. Just within the passage is the fair of the album as far as this first can happen. So maybe more or less like a snack run, but kind of within the product of probably picking up like, you know, some Chex Mix or burrito, something like that, but also within the pitch as far as saying just in the fair as far as getting towards like, you know, probably just if you do have to buy like some stamps or something like that, just nearby kind of post office or something within that delight, or just something within the usual mixtape kind of trap passage of like some tracks and pitches like that, but just in the format, just the kind of within the preoccupiedness about it as far as what's first going to happen. So definitely within the pitch. So look after here as far as what's first going to happen. So I definitely say within the product, this album gets a 10 out of 10, excellent type product. The social score, I'll probably give the social score like a 9.75 out of 10. I look in the pitch, does have some pretty capital type songs in here. Has a number of guests that are pretty big name within the pitch. Young Thug's on here, a couple of Young Thug's on here, Kevin Gates is on here, Future and T Grizzly are on here, Lil TJ's on here a couple of times, Queen Naja's on here, Lil Baby, Lil Durk are on here, Kodak Black, YNW Gunna, Lil Uzi Vert's on here, Hot Boy's on here. So folks like that within those particular products about it has good, it's a great ensemble of trap folks within these products of it. It's just kind of the pitch as far as saying, I just think the moment, it's just more of the personable type fare that YNW Melly was going through that kind of slices this product. I mean, it did have 5 singles within those products, didn't have any like number 1, number 15 singles pitches like that within those ordeals, but it's not a bad album. It's definitely within the prime of it. You sift through Instagram enough, especially within the rhythmic type format, you're going to find a few of these that were probably played back in those days. Pretty large headway within pitch. This is a fun type album. It has some brooding type moments. You connect with like the aspects that he definitely has the aspect of being able to nail this like the broodiness. So it kind of just puts into the frame of mind like the pitch as far as talking about folks to kind of have different things to talk about. Lil Boozy was pretty good at this. Master P is pretty good at this. Tupac obviously was pretty good at this. Tech Nine in certain senses would have those personal type songs. It just has it from the angle, but it does it. The personal songs are kind of on here, but it's just more in a personal life type fashion. It's not so much a miss the pitch of like the way Eminem would complain about his family and pitches like that, or wanting to be a family man. It's kind of within the pitch as far as saying it has the aspect of this caught up with more flames and bells and personal kind of squabble as far as this person. I'm not to say within that format as far as like it's not one dimensional or insular, but it's just kind of a new era type pitch as far as having that particular focus of just having the brooding type moments that some of these type folks were pretty capital at, but just kind of having it be less about like the business side of things and more kind of within the fashion and just what's going on with you personally. So this has the pitch as far as nailing that particular aspect. So nails that tone. So 9.75 was just the pitch, and just, you know, I did, you know, some of these moments reflecting like the conduct of like young nigga shit and like young nigga shit, Nana and a Boo Boo and Freddy Krueger remix and those type tones. I mean, they are on here, but it's just more fleeting than I think probably more fleeting than it probably full bound should have been within those pitches. But it's kind of fair. It's what he was dealing with as far as his first game. So I look in the pitch to 9.75 social. In terms of future, like I want to say that YNW Melly dropped something recently within those products, so it's kind of the fair as far as this pitch is going to happen. But this is a classic here, 2020's classic within those ordeals. Definitely some excellent type aspects. The new era kind of blitzer within those products. It's not as heavily focused kind of within the turnip like the blitzing type ordeal, but it does have some fun type moments like the shifting and just getting some smoke runs, some snack runs kind of in there, just the preoccupying, some personal life type ones that have some connect about it.